As you are working through ALEKS, there will be progress knowledge checks. These count for our test for the class. So right here, I've learned one topic. When you've learned about 20 topics and spent about 5 hours in ALEKS, a progress knowledge check may pop up. These are just like the initial knowledge checks, except they're a little bit shorter. So they're called progress knowledge checks. They're a maximum of 20 questions, and they're going to determine how well you're doing on these learned topics. Are you remembering them and retaining the information as you're going? So let's say that I've learned 20 topics and it pop up and say, time for a knowledge check. And I take that. At the end, it's going to say, you've mastered 18 of them. You need to revisit 2 of them. So those mastered ones will move to the mastered category, and the other 2 that you need to revisit will be thrown in the pie. That's bad. You got to go do them again, and I know that's not fun to go do them again, but basically it's saying you missed this on a test. Let's go practice them again, and then you can get it right on the next test. So it's giving you a chance to redo the problems that you've missed. When you take these knowledge checks, it's important to not use a bunch of outside resources, because you do want to make sure that you are accurately showing what you know and what you don't know, and it's going to better prepare you for the proctored final knowledge check. They do kind of pop up randomly. If you want to check to see when one's going to come for you, you can click on this little guy right here and it will tell you. There is a little bit of variation. Everything is personalized for you. So I may be able to do 40 topics in 5 hours, and whereas somebody else may only be able to do 20 topics in 5 hours. The person who has 40 topics may get a little bit harder of a test because they're testing over 40 topics, but they may take fewer progress knowledge checks throughout the class. Whereas the person who's only doing 20 topics, their progress knowledge checks may be a little bit easier because they're only testing over 20 topics, but they may do several more of them throughout the test. So it's all personalized to how you learn. There's no benefit or downside to either way. When you're doing a knowledge check, it is possible it determines what you know and what you don't know fast. So you could only do 12 questions. It's a maximum of 20, but it could kick you out after 12 and say, hey, we already figured out what you know and what you don't know, so here's your results. As long as it doesn't say to revisit a lot of topics, that means you did good. A handful's fine. Just throw those back in there, work on them again, try them again on the next knowledge check. And if you start to ever see problems that you haven't covered yet, that means you're probably doing pretty well, because the goal of the progress knowledge check is to test you over what you've been learning recently. But if you start to do really good on those, it may see if you can jump forward. So like if you know how to do A, B, and C, it may ask you how to do D, because you kind of have the foundations for that, and maybe you'll get a skip out of that and jump out of that again. So every time you take one of these knowledge checks, it reworks the pie. The goal generally, again, to see if you want to do well, is check your percentage before you take the knowledge check, and as long as you get close to that, you did good. So if I took a knowledge check right now and got 15%, then I'm good. Like I only dropped 1%, gives me a couple more problems to go practice again, and I'll get it right on the next one.